why you shouldn't hate people. There's a good reason why hatred affects us negatively. It's because it's part of a cycle. To break that cycle, you need to move out of it. An important lesson I learned in life was, people are unhappier with hatred. All these headlines you see nowadays only highlight the negatives. It also doesn't help when personalities and famous people in general express that hatred. Note, we are talking about hate, not anger. The most unhealthy problem is hate, because it makes you lose sight of what matters. Sure, we have dislikes, but hate is the strongest form of disliking, and becomes intolerance. This is why I think it's dangerous. And it often drives you to do extreme things. You want proof. What do you feel when you see something you hate? What actions do you want to do in that situation? But it leads on to why I'm more forgiving of people and choose not to hate. And why I choose to come from a place of love and understanding. I know actions have consequences. And in rare cases, those consequences are something that in turn can ruin your own life. We see this with suicide. Many people are quick to try to prevent a suicide, but not solve the problem which caused it. And if you look at the root of the problem, it's very obvious. It was something bad. Girlfriend left you. People dying. People being shit towards you. This is why I choose to be safer, by being nice and understanding. I feel safer to not encourage negative behaviors. It's the same reason I'm more gentler to people who do bad things. I don't hate a child abuser. Rather, I understand them and want them to change. Give them words of encouragement rather than a waste of breath. When you call someone a piece of shit, it does not do anything. You have to reason instead. Rather than tell a child predator they are a piece of shit, explain why what they're doing is wrong. Children are vulnerable and innocent. What the child predator is doing is really creepy. And there's a bunch of biological problems I guess too, like permanent damage. But that's really gruesome. And also mention the consequences of that, where they could be put in prison. In a ways, I'm glad shows like Chris Hansen's How to Catch a Predator are gone. For two reasons. 1. They may not all be real cases. And 2. It's just crappy television. It literally breeds hate. And to the majority of viewers who hold the bias that all child predators are evil, it still breeds that hate and confirms their bias. This is what I mean by actions having consequences. Then people become very unhappy. Another thing I have to ask, and this has to be the most powerful, most philosophical question I have to ask regarding child sex abuse, as the abuser. What if you've gone too far already and don't know what to do? It's an honest question. It doesn't have a pleasant or even a certain answer. When you realize that, you really can understand the position people are in and why they keep on doing it. This leads into again, why you should reason instead of hate. Because that hate will encourage more of that abuse. The proof is quite obvious. The hate doesn't discourage them. We still have cases of this every single day. The final point I want to make is ignorance. With the case of criminals, they are ignorant of something, or maybe we are. Someone murders another person. Why did the murder happen? Not how. Why? We don't know, and maybe the criminal doesn't know. But what will still stand is, the action is still bad regardless. And understanding why it happened could give us a clue on how to treat this person's disorder or urges. Part of what prompted me to write this was an incident that took place on a live stream. It's a popular WoW streamer. Most of you probably know who it is. The Mauled King himself. Anyway, he was doing an event to give a lucky player a chance to get a rare mount. And he was doing a death roll, which is gambling from high numbers to lowest based on roll. The entry fee is 250k gold. One player traded this streamer less than the required amount of gold. The player clicked trade. The streamer also clicked trade. And that was 200k gold gone. At first thought, I thought this was fucked up. But then I thought about it. People in his chat were trying to rationalize it, saying it's a scam, and that it is a bad thing that the streamer clicked trade. However, I noticed the reason why the streamer done this. He did it to teach that person, and many others, a lesson. And to be honest, if the person who lost that gold realizes that, this is a good fucking lesson to learn. Unfortunately the streamer got it wrong by trying to fill the gaps in this incident. The truth is, we don't know the true intent of that guy who lost the gold. But the point is, this is a lesson not to trade away something that has value to you and confirm it without asking whether it's enough for entry. And also not to be ignorant of the rules in place. As the streamer said, hatred is unnecessary. The understanding is what matters. And the streamer actually did a good job of pointing this out. The reason you shouldn't hate people is because it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't dissuade them from their actions. For those wanting evidence of that, ask yourself, what bad actions have you done that people have condemned you for? In what way did that dissuade you? This surprisingly applies to criticism too. If you don't stop hating, the world will never change. And holy shit, I just realized how scary that is. Look at all the things we've changed over the years. The way we treat atheists like normal human beings. The way disability is accepted in society, for the most part. The way LGBTQ and black rights became a thing. People's perception of those was hate and misunderstanding. What did it take for them to finally be accepted? Understanding. It's like with the gay rights events that occurred where gay people actually got violent. It's a rare case of where that violence actually has a really interesting and deep message, where gay people were stoned to death, often tortured, and suddenly they turned it on the people doing that, and there you have that understanding met. I don't think that was hatred. That was justifiable violence. Of course it may be inconsistent with other actions, because it can be circular. But the point is, what we do to people and what we think is wrong isn't always going to be right. Oh yeah, one final thing. Another reason why I sympathize with criminals. I think even the worst criminals have a redeeming quality, even if they don't want to change. Because I know there is that feeling inside of them needing to be awakened. It could be empathy or sympathy. It could even be sadness. Trying to get that person to understand is one way we can change them for the better. We're all ignorant of something. Not knowing is one of life's many wonders. And we will work towards knowing. That is progress.